Welcome to episode 5 of the 365 podcast. This is the 2014 edition, the roundup, and we've also got a review for the Hobbit, the 5 Armies film, and then a look ahead to 2015, which we are now in. So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. However, first things first, Chris DDS has something to say. I made you watch a movie that you blind refused to watch this movie for the longest time, and I would like you to take over and tell me what you thought of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, okay.
You knew this was coming.
I actually forgot this was coming. Yeah, okay, I was wrong about Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a fantastic movie, and yeah, possibly the best Marvel movie yet.
Oh.
Possibly even up there with Avengers Assemble. There you go. Are you happy?
I am happy with that. I mean, I remember sitting there probably this time last year, as in 2014, basically telling you that I thought this was going to be the big movie of the year. I mean, I know there was a lot of other films coming out that were all going to be big movies, whereas 2014 looked like the bastard son of 2015, because 2015 is going to be a huge year.
It certainly is.
I remember sitting there trying to tell you that Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be Marvel's big thing this year, and I remember you blind refusing because it had a talking tree and it had a talking raccoon.
And ironically, they made the movie.
They did make the movie. So I'm sitting here with a big cheesy grin on my face, smug as a bastard, because I knew that was coming.
Smugger than usual, to be honest.
Well, no smugger than usual. I do feel like you deserved that. So that had to go right at the start, get out of the way, and now we can get on. We're going to do our top 5 of 2014.
Top 5 of 2014, right, okay.
The 5 movies that we thought were the best, and then at the end of that we will crack on with a sort of dishonorable mentions, as in what sucked ass. But we always like to start on a good note, so let's start with the top 5 of 2014.
You like to start on a good note? Jesus.
Well, I've got a few films on my shit list that I'm kind of going to berate. You know, you start on a bit of a high, and then you...
Okay. Right, so what was your number 5?
So sitting in at number 5. This one I really struggled with because I actually had 6 movies and I knew I had to drop one. I
had the same problem.
It was a big problem for me, and one of them is like quite a serious action film and the other one was like a comedy sort of action film, and I struggled for a long time. And in the end I went with my number 5 being 22 Jump Street.
Now, I've not seen that yet, but it has just been dispatched to me by Love Film. I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I love the first movie. 22
Jump Street is just absolutely... It's hilarious, and it's action when it needs the action. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill couldn't have a better bromance. It's such a fantastic film, and I thought it was really well written. And the fact that they play on the fact that it is a sequel. Do you know anything about it?
Only from the trailer.
Well...
That's all I really know.
Basically, you know it's a sequel, and they make no bones in telling you that it's a sequel. A lot of the jokes is the fact that they are in a sequel, and it's just...
Sounds a bit like Scream 2.
It sounds bad, but trust me, the way they come out with some of the stuff is just absolutely hilarious. There's like, they're getting sent undercover again within the first 5-10 minutes, because, they get sent undercover at like a university or a college.
Right.
And the guy who's telling them the job, like their captain, is basically like, do what you did last time, but bigger.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's just great. Like, I love Jump Street. And you know how much I loved The Raid 2, but that's the one that got dropped.
Yeah, my number 5 was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And your silence, kind of, I was expecting that.
No.
It was a good movie, right? I know that... I still don't understand this, and I've said this before. I don't understand this at all. All this hate towards Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. I don't understand it at all. In that movie, he was a good Peter Parker. He was a fucking hilarious Spider-Man, which is what you want from Spider-Man. It's not a serious character. He's a funny character. Jamie Foxx was fantastic as Electro. You can't deny that. The set pieces were amazing, particularly the Times Square bit, the big battle at the end when they're sort of flying through the electrical pylon thing,
Yeah.
It looked amazing. It looked fantastic. And obviously you had DeHaan as Harry Osborn, and he was fantastic as well. And I just don't understand the people's reaction to the movie.
And I didn't.
I think a lot of it, again, sorry to interrupt, I think, again, I've mentioned this before, is the Sony's marketing strategy, where it's rammed like fuck down everybody's throats for months and months and months before it actually comes out. So everybody's sick of it by the time it actually gets here. That's maybe got something to do with it.
You have mentioned that. I did like Spider-Man 2. I thought it was alright. It had its merits. As you say, like, action-wise, it's a good film. Story-wise, it's so-so. It's better than average.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. The whole Peter Parker story, dad storyline, I could have done without.
Yeah, I know, that's something that people are not bothered about. I'm not bothered about it, to be honest. I think they were so desperate to try and make it different from the Tobey Maguire ones.
Yeah.
So they said, it's the untold story. It's not the untold story. You don't need an untold story of Spider-Man. Just do a fucking Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Do you think as well a lot of the hate is because of the Marvel crowd? Like, not the Marvel crowd, but like the Marvel Avengers crowd. Do you think that might have anything to do with it?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we've said a lot over the last month that we'd love to see Spider-Man be sort of brought into the family and being an Avengers movie at some point.
In the phases, yeah. I'm with you with Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, it didn't necessarily tickle me, but...
Well, Spider-Man is my favourite superhero.
Well, yeah.
And it was a kick-ass Spider-Man movie. It was a funny Spider-Man movie. It looked fantastic. So that, what more do you want?
So I wasn't surprised at that one at all, to be fair. Like, I knew it was going to be in there somewhere. I did know it was going to be in there somewhere. Number 4, I went for the movie we just talked about, and I went for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, right, okay.
Simple fact that it's amazing. It's an amazing film, and I wanted to place it higher. I had trouble placing my number 5 movie, but my number 4 to 1 onwards was always going to be those 4 movies. It was just a case of where do I place them.
I thought Guardians would be higher up for you, like.
I wanted to, but I think my other 3 movies, I couldn't place them anywhere else. But I mean, I think James Gunn coming out as a relatively unknown director to be given a massive Marvel movie that, to be fair, was also a huge risk, and he absolutely nailed it. He
did nail it. Yep. And, I downloaded the soundtrack, and I've listened to it about 3 times now.
The soundtrack's unbelievable.
It's just phenomenal. It's, yeah.
The soundtrack pretty much becomes its own character in the movie. And I can't say anything bad about Guardians. There's nothing bad for me. All the characters were amazing. All the actors were... Michael Rooker putting in a pretty damn funny performance. It
Definitely.
Had a lot of British people in it. Chris Pratt, the breakout star of the year, basically. Guardians nailed it for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is up there with the Marvel movies. It's pretty close to the top for me. It's not the top film for me, but it's close. And I do rate it higher than Avengers, just so you know.
You do, right? Okay. Well, I'm a Joss Whedon whore, as we know. So.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah. All right. Pissy.
So your number 4.
My number 4 was Locke.
Oh,
with Tom Hardy.
Excellent.
Fantastic movie.
It was a fantastic movie. It's my number 3.
It's your number 3. Here we bloody go. We did say earlier on our list would be pretty similar.
Aye.
I didn't expect Spider-Man to be on your list, but
what, you expected it on there?
No, I didn't expect it.
I was gonna say.
No, Christ on a bike. I know you better than that.
The movie that just shoehorns every fucking villain it possibly can.
Well, it doesn't.
Sorry. I was quite nice about it there.
It's not as bad as Remy's Spider-Man 3.
But then
I mean, the Rhino one. If you cut that unnecessary end scene,
yeah,
which is I'll admit is crap, with the little kid standing in front of him, and if you cut that shit bit out,
yeah,
and just have the guy in the car at the beginning, then have Rhino come into it in the next movie, which is never going to happen.
As part of the Sinister Six.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't need to show Rhino in that movie. That was shit, to be fair. But there you go.
But Locke,
yes, aye, yeah. I mean, what do you say? Well, it's about a movie about a guy going to the birth of his kid whose life is falling apart.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. and he's trying to keep it together. He's having a fake conversation with his dead arsehole dad. And
you know I love Dark Knight Rises, and the biggest part of Dark Knight Rises for me is Bane. I know Tom Hardy's a phenomenal actor. He's done that Martina Cole TV show, The Take. He was brilliant in that.
Yes, he was.
And over the last couple of years, he's been plugging away at this whole acting thing. And in Locke, I feel he hits the top of his craft.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't fighting, he wasn't racing his car, he wasn't beating anyone up, but he was just delivering some bloody good dialogue in a car by himself.
The one thing, right, I kept on noticing this throughout the film, I don't know if I was missing something, is when he was speaking on the phone, he kept on saying, the traffic's not too bad now, or the traffic's quite quiet now. I just thought, does that mean something? I don't know. Maybe I was just.
Is it not because he's on the motorway, so you might get there quicker?
No, I just thought it meant that it was.
You thought it was code.
I thought like the director was trying to tell us something, or like he was actually dead or something like that. But,
no, I think it just meant because he's on the motorway, you might get there a bit quicker. I love how you overthink the most simplistic movie on your list.
Fuck you.
It is pretty. It's. I remember trying to sell the movie to someone at work, and I was sat there, and they said, "So what's it about?" And I says, "Well, Tom Hardy gets in a car, and then he drives to a hospital." And they were like, "Oh, but like, what else happens?" I was like, "Oh, well, like his wife phones him, the guy at work phones him, his boss phones him, his kid phones him, the woman who's pregnant phones him." I'm like, "All right, so he's just like in the car answering phone calls." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, and he's making phone calls, trying to make it a bit more exciting, And he was just kind of like, "Yeah, no, I don't think I'll watch that."
Well, then he was mistaken.
He was mistaken because it's a hell.
The one thing I would say is I got it from Love Film, right? And on the label it said thriller. Yeah. It's not a bloody thriller. It's not a thriller, Kev.
No, I wouldn't call it a thriller.
It's a drama. It's a drama, to be fair. It's not a thriller. But then I thought the motorway was something to do with the god or something. So just, maybe it is a thriller.
Maybe it.
You're an arsehole.
The next time I watch that film, I'm going to be looking out for the traffic's not too bad now, so I might be dead. And he pulls off a bloody good Welsh accent.
He does, yes. So do you, actually, to be fair.
I don't do Welsh too bad. That was my main basis for the selling point of that movie was the phone call when he's telling the guy at work to go and see the Polish guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I can't, I've had a few drinks." And he's just kind of like, we'll run like the bloody wind." He's like, "You're pissed." And he just kind of sat there and he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm definitely not watching that."
But how do you actually sell that? I mean, I just watched that film because he was in it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I watched it.
To be fair, I thought that was a selling point. I thought, Tom Hardy's in it, why wouldn't you watch it?
Shout outs to Andrew Scott and to Olivia Colman.
Excellent.
I don't know who plays his wife and his kids. But so that scene, I think I mentioned this when I did a review of it on the website. The scene where the kid, his son, is saying to him, "Oh, we watched the football game, but we've recorded it for you. So you can come home, can't you? You can come home and we can pretend nothing's happened." And he's welling up, and oh my Christ, that was some good stuff.
I'm pretty much in the same boat there.
Can imagine you bawling your eyes out at that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I did well up at that point, but yeah.
I nearly dropped Locke because I thought I can't have two Hardy movies in there, and I wanted to put that new one, The Drop, with James Gandolfini.
Yeah, I've not seen that yet.
I wanted to put that in there, but you know what, Locke, as far as Tom Hardy goes, Locke stole a year for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Mad Max. So
yeah, I think that could be a cinema trip. To be honest, I mean,
I think I will go to the cinema.
I've not seen the whole of the original trilogy with Mel Gibson. I've seen the first movie, but not since I was a kid, so I can't really remember bugger all about it.
Yeah, I might be able to do that, but I mean, we'll talk about that on the to look forward at the end.
So that was your number 3.
So Locke came in at my number 3. So what was your number 3?
My number 3 was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Is that your number 2?
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Jesus Christ. Right. So we're basically just thrown off here because I put bloody Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, basically, aye. You've ruined the whole list because you put Spider-Man on.
Bloody web fuck.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was always going to be in there for me because it was a bloody good film. I still don't necessarily agree with your argument about the whole CG kind of mocap Oscar thing.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, I'm not wrong. Why does he deserve it?
Look at the performance he gave in it.
Yeah, he gives a good performance.
I know
and
he was animated and the character was animated, but there was somebody behind that. He was still, it was motion capture. He was doing all the expressions and all that, yada yada yada. He deserves a nod at the Oscars this year for that because Caesar was amazing in it.
Fair enough, give him like a nod, as in say, honourable mention, but don't.
He's not dead.
Don't give him a fucking Oscar for playing a monkey, for Christ's sake.
I'm not saying best actor or anything like that. But then you see, the thing is, if you do that for him, you're going to have to do it for the guy that played the one with the mental face.
Koba.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Koba stole the movie for me.
A monkey on a horse, dual wielding guns.
What more do you want from a movie?
Exactly.
If only Tim Burton took somebody's advice.
Yeah, so the movie had a great story. I mean, I think we said at the time when we went to see it, Gary Oldman was really, really underused.
Yeah, he might as well have not been there.
Yeah, he was there to just basically get killed at the end. Spoilers. Yeah, bygones.
Anybody could have, well, to be honest, if you haven't seen it by now, don't listen to us. But yeah, I know what you mean about Gary Oldman. Like, he just seemed a bit pointless.
I would rather have had Gary Oldman in the part of, the generic human fella. I forget what his name is.
Jason Clarke.
That'll do.
Yeah, the main guy.
The main guy, yeah. Put Gary Oldman in that part.
Franco's replacement.
Yes. And that, yeah, I mean, I would rather have had James Franco in there.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant in the first movie.
He was really good in the first movie, and that was kind of where he got his breakout and started getting more kind of serious roles. So yeah, it was a shame not to have him. I mean, I think the film itself was a bit of an achievement for me. And when I look at all the films that have come out in 2014, it was a massive achievement because I had no idea. Like, I like the original Planet of the Apes. I like most of them, even the really crappy ones towards the end. I still like them because...
Yeah, you know what? I agree. ITV showed them not that long ago from the start, probably when Dawn was coming out, and I watched them just because I hadn't seen them before, and they're all right. Not the Tim Burton one, we're not talking about that one. But I don't
think we should ever talk about the Tim Burton one, to be fair.
It's like the movie equivalent of Voldemort.
Yeah, Jesus, we went dark there. So I was happy with the Planet of the Apes, and I also liked. I think I mentioned it. Did you come? We went to the cinema for that, didn't we?
We did.
Aye.
Yeah.
And it was. I think I mentioned it in the car on the way back. It was like when it finished and you got that extreme close up on Caesar and the camera just kept coming in.
Aye, yeah.
And then it faded. It faded to black. There was not a fucking noise in the cinema. Yeah. Everything was just. And I had never seen that in a movie before. Like, I'd never seen that. Everybody just kind of normally gets up and like, oh, well, that was good, that was all right. But everybody was just kind of sat there like, okay.
That was pretty much it, yeah. Okay.
You're going to end it there? Like, I don't think it was disappointment. I think it was just, wow.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about the motion capture performance, there's a guy behind it. That was where I kind of noticed it. From Andy Serkis, it was that last little bit, because he was bloody good in that last little bit when he kind of gave his little "we're gonna go to war" sort of speech, and then it just kind of panned in.
Well, of course, because the army and that was coming, wasn't it?
Well, the army was coming, and
like the war was about to start.
Jason Clarke's all like, "Oh, we'll stay and we'll help you," and he's like, "No,
because I'm Batman."
Oh, Caesar said that. Because I'm Caesar. So Dawn was also my number 2, so there's no point going to my number 2, so we'll go to your number 2. Which I know this is going to be the same as my number 1. This is going
to be your number 1, isn't it? Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Bloody hell.
That was your number 1?
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Right.
First and foremost, we really need to actually just talk about this beforehand and like just choose different
Maybe
films.
mix it up so we choose, one of us is an arsehole and just picks random crap and defends it.
Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier. I'm really interested what your number one is now. Jesus. For me, by far and away, I ranked Guardians above Avengers. I think Captain America 2 is the best film Marvel's done so far to date.
I would still rank the original Iron Man pretty high up the list.
The original Iron Man, don't get me wrong, it'd probably be like in my top 4. Probably maybe 4. But I don't know, Captain America 2 strikes such a balance of everything. It's a spy movie, it's an action movie, it's a superhero movie, it's a bit of... Some people do complain that Captain America 2 didn't know what it wanted to be, but I think that's total bullshit. I
disagree with that.
I think it hit every note, and it was my film.
It knew exactly what it wanted to be. Like you say, it was more of a thriller than a superhero movie for me. Because it was the rise of Hydra and all that, and.
Well, exactly. Like, I was sitting watching it after having seen the first movie, and when they go down into the bunker and everything's going tits up and that, and they go in the bunker, and what's his name? Professor Zoloff is like a fucking computer now. I was kind of just sat there like, holy shit, Hydra's the villain, and they've fucking infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I might just be a complete naive bastard, but I didn't see that coming.
No, didn't see that. No.
It was actually a big twist for me.
It was a fantastic twist, and, it's going to change I assume, what happens in Avengers 2 is going to be affected by all that. So
they're going to have to rebuild some sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. and...
Well, they're doing that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, well, I don't watch that shit, do I?
Well, you should. It's better than Gotham.
Gotham's not really got going yet, though. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in its second series, so it should be...
It's fine.
It should be excellent. There's
nothing wrong with the show. It's a good show.
I just can't buy into it.
You've not watched it, so shut the hell up.
I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes of the first series.
Well, you can't take... See, you've just said to me that I can't take Gotham from the first part of the series because it's not going yet. And you said that you stopped watching S.H.I.E.L.D. in the first part of the series because it wasn't going yet. So make up your mind. Right, so Captain America 2. It
had probably one of my favourite villains. Actually, I would say Bucky is my favourite villain of any Marvel movie so far.
Yes, he was a really good villain, definitely.
He was an excellent villain.
I want to know what the hell they're going to do with him.
Is he not supposed to take over from Captain America?
He takes over, from what I've read, he takes over when Steve Rogers is killed. He takes over as Captain America.
But this is the other thing, because they left it open for Steve and the Falcon to kind of go looking for Bucky, and now they've announced that Captain America 3 Civil War.
Yeah, so I mean, are they just abandoning that story?
Is that on the back burner, or is that going to be the first 10 minutes of the movie, or
maybe that'll be like where we meet up with Steve Rogers and Avengers 2.
Maybe.
Don't know what's going to happen in that.
Maybe that's him looking for Bucky. Yeah, because in the trailer, is he not like a Baron von Strucker's big castle thing? So maybe, that's him.
Maybe that's where they find Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah. Possibly.
It's a theory.
It's all conjecture just now. It's all up in the air until we watch Avengers 2. I think Captain America is just perfect.
It was one hell of a movie.
Plus as well, I know we've talked about this countless times, and I know you're not going to rehash this. We got Avengers Assemble, which was an absolutely it was awesome. I mean, you go back and you watch it now, you can pick a few faults, but the first time you watched Avengers Assemble...
I don't pick faults, I refuse.
That's just you.
No, it's just you being a picky arsehole, that's what it is.
But the first time you watched Avengers Assemble, it was like, it's not just a Marvel phase, whatever, game changer, it's kind of a movie game changer, because it was huge, and it was epic, and it was Joss Whedon at his best, to be fair. What did they release after that?
Iron Man 3. Nothing wrong with Iron Man 3. We're not having that conversation again.
We're not having that conversation right now. We will be having that conversation again.
No, I won the conversation, so...
Burn chose me.
No, Burn chose you, because you had a rant in the bloody post, and I made actual comments, actual points, but you ranted, so he chose you. Aye, that's bloody why he chose you.
Who are you going to choose? The guy that rants or the guy that comes at you with facts? Like, Avengers came out, and it was awesome. Me, personally, I think Marvel dropped the ball when they released Iron Man 3.
I will give you, because I read the Extremis comic, that movie could have been absolutely amazing.
I think, to be honest, anything better than what we did get, I would have been happy with.
Right, moving on.
And then a few months later, they released Thor 2: The Dark World, which I just, again, in Phase 1, Thor was my favourite movie. In Phase 2, Thor was my
I would say Thor 2, it was kind of like the first time I watched it, I was sort of in the camp of, that was good. And I watched it again. I was sort of like, that was alright.
Yeah.
It's not best movie. It's only 80 odd minutes long.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Short for a Marvel movie, isn't it?
You know, there are Disney movies longer than that, for fuck's sake.
Captain America 3 came along, and
yes,
I was kind of sitting there thinking I might just have had enough now. With Iron Man 3 not being great, and with Thor 2 being poor, and Captain America 2 came along, and it just blew my socks off, to be fair. It did, I'm not gonna lie. So now I pretty much look forward to anything Marvel are doing, and very much anything the Russo brothers are part of.
Are they on board to direct Infinity Wars, or is Joss Whedon not quit yet?
Apparently they're taking over from Joss after Avengers 2.
Right.
But you know if Avengers 2 does good money, which it's gonna fucking do, Joss Whedon's gonna come back. He has to.
You know my opinions on Joss Whedon.
You'll be involved.
Could be like a Nolan thing where he's involved with the whole, sort of the whole universe kind of thing.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. So we've pretty much chosen all the same movies for our lists. What was your number one, though?
Before we get to my number one, do you have any honourable mentions?
Honourable mentions? I had a few, actually. Then I had the Grand Budapest Hotel. I was tempted.
So did I. I absolutely loved that movie.
I was tempted for that, but I don't know. I dropped that last minute. As I've already said, I had Raid 2, because...
So did I, yeah.
Raid 2 is just absolutely unbelievable.
Definitely need to have a meeting about the next top 5.
I had Snowpiercer, because I really enjoyed that. I know a lot of people didn't.
I've never heard of that.
I also had the Turtles.
You had the Turtles?
I thought if I put Turtles on there, you're going to slap me.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to comment on that until I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see it because I'm scared that Michael Bay's going to kill another part of my childhood, because I was a big fan of the Turtles as well as Transformers when I was a bairn. So
I actually really enjoyed the film, and Megan Fox, although I could have done without her, she didn't bother me that much. But I think they absolutely nailed all 4 of the Turtles. I think they nailed them.
See, that's maybe the one saving grace for me that'll make me watch it, because I've heard a lot of people say that. The fact that you and other people have said they nailed the characters of the Turtles, that would maybe make me. The only other one I had in my honourable mentions, which did nearly make my top 5, was the Hobbit: Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah, I thought
which
about that.
We'll come to later on.
I thought about the Hobbit, but because we were going to be talking about it anyway, I thought, fuck it, I'm leaving it out.
So my number one is Guardians of the Galaxy.
So apart from Spider-Man, we did pretty much just have the same list.
Pretty much, aye. I know that's huge, massive turnaround for me. Not want to watch it at all to now it's my number one movie of 2014.
In January 2014, you basically sat there and told me you had no fucking interest in watching a movie about a walking tree and a talking raccoon. So yeah, for it to be the top of your list, I'm actually happy with that, and I feel like a big fucking I told you so coming.
It's a fantastic movie. It looks amazing. The special effects are fantastic. As we said earlier on, Chris Pratt is brilliant. Zoe, what's her name? Zaldana?
Yep.
Something like that. Is amazing. And this is the one that was one of the reasons that was putting me off was Batista. He's amazing in it.
He's unbelievable in it. Like, he's not quite the best character. He's kind of like, if you had to drop one of them, it might have been Batista. But no, he rounds off the crew.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to sell it to Byrne the other night. I think he's going to watch it. He's an awkward twat, as you know.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to watch it. And I just sort of said, like, Batista's sort of one-liners in it, because he's all literal, his speech is sort of literal in that. His one-liners are just so bloody funny. You know, the bit where Karen Gillan is sort of facing them off, she's going all Darth Maul on them.
Yeah.
And he's sort of saying, this man's my friend, and this creature's my friend, and this green whore is my friend.
When I first read about it, Groot was the one character. Like, I was sold on the raccoon. All I thought was, you get the right person to voice that raccoon's going to be the best thing about the movie.
Yeah, to be fair, Bradley Cooper nailed it.
So. He does nail it. And it's that bit when he's gone, when he's doing the laugh. It's like, ah! And he's gone, that's a fake laugh. It's real! That's kind of when I'm sat there going, yeah, Bradley Cooper's nailed it.
Yeah. The bit with the fake leg as well. And he gets the fair, I'm only joking, I just wanted to see if you'd do it.
I get the feeling that we talked about doing like a pod where we list our Marvel movies, the phase movies. I think we'll talk more on Guardians there. Like, I do however think that list is going to be very different. You like a lot of shit like Iron Man, so...
I would assume that the first Iron Man would be in your your list? To be continued. So, dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable mentions. I actually ended up with a list of about 10. I whittled it down to the 5 worst movies of the year. I think when we talk about these, we shouldn't really go too in depth. We should just fucking... because I don't want to talk about some of these films.
Well, I've only got 3. So
You've only got 3?
I didn't put these in any order because, to be honest, they don't deserve it. So I'll mention RoboCop.
Yeah, I had that on my list, but it didn't make my shit list.
It was beyond crap.
It was beyond crap. I mean, in a movie where Gary Oldman and Samuel L. Jackson both...
And Michael Keaton as well.
And
Michael Keaton making a big comeback.
In a movie where the 3 of them put in rank amateur performances. I can't even argue that Gary Oldman was good in that film, because personally I don't think he was. I know he didn't do much, but...
To be honest, I really don't remember him.
Samuel L. Jackson just pissed me off with his fucking America the Brave bollocks.
Yeah.
Keaton, nowhere near as good as the original bad guy.
They made it a PG as well.
Yeah, what's that all about?
What are you doing with these films?
But to make RoboCop,
to me, they're just trying to get as many sort of bums on seats as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Get all the kids in. Get the kids in.
I went with I put Days of Future Past on my shit list. I know the X-Men movies were on a slippery slope anyway. It was like he watched Star Trek and thought, oh look, JJ's rebooted it on a different timeline, I'm going to do that. But if you're going to do that, JJ didn't have the problem of trying to answer questions because he rebooted it, you know, he made it an alternate timeline, so the questions no longer exist on the new timeline. Bryan Singer decided, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rejigger the timeline, but he just didn't answer fuck all. It could have been awesome. Singer could have gained my respect back. X-Men could have got back on track.
But then, we've said this before, Kev, other than X-Men 2, all of the X-Men films have been only alright. So, my next one was Pompeii.
I didn't even make it past the first 10 minutes.
I watched it, it was one of those movies where I watched it all the way through, just in case it got good. I was trying to be optimistic because Jon Snow was in it.
Did Jack Bauer,
but I didn't.
Did Jack Bauer go dark?
Oh, Jack Bauer was in it, doing an English accent and failing miserably at it. I could do an English accent better than that.
Well, I would hope so.
Shut the fuck up. So Pompeii, it just sort of screamed out of Pearl Harbor syndrome. You take this event that people would actually go and see a movie about and then fill it with romantic political bollocks that nobody wants to see.
I mean, obviously I've got Transformers in there. I don't actually want to talk about Transformers, so I'll gloss over that and say Mark Wahlberg is at a career low, Michael Bay is at a career low directing wise, Bird is a generic piece of wood.
But that's the kind of Bird that he likes in it, isn't it? I mean, and Michael Bay didn't seem to give a fuck about, with like the reviews and what have you that came out after the movie was released.
He'd made a 3.5 hour Transformers movie, which could have done with 3 hours just taken out, because all anybody wanted to see was the fucking Dinobots, and they're only in it for half an hour.
And fucking Optimus Prime rides Grimlock. That's enough said. Moving on.
I put Transcendence on my list.
I've not seen that.
When it came to the turn of the year, I like to look ahead and see what's coming. And when I saw Transcendence, I thought, oh, Johnny Depp might have actually made a decent movie now. It was just the biggest load of nonsense I've ever seen.
What's it actually about?
It's like he wants to create a computer that has its own mind, and then he's like dying or something like that. So he puts his mind in the computer, and then he becomes the computer, and then he wants to take over. He basically becomes Johnny Five because he wants more input.
Isn't that like the plot of Terminator Salvation?
But on a really slow, boring, uninteresting story scale.
The only other movie I had on the dishonorable mention list was I, Frankenstein.
I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I watched this movie on purpose.
I watched the Dracula one on purpose.
Oh my god. It was like a really, 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 really shit version of Underworld.
But is this not the start of the Universal reboot with all the monsters?
Well, yeah, apparently,
So they're
bringing all the monsters into present day then?
Well, they must be. Otherwise, because Dracula...
they're bringing the mummy into present day. Like Aaron Eckhart going to be in the Universal franchise now, is he? And I remember him, it was on Jonathan Ross or Graham Norton or one of those bloody things, and he was on about being part of a franchise.
This one you're really not going to like. And I'm sorry, but I have to be honest with you, mate. Dumb and Dumber 2.
Dumb and Dumber 2? Oh no!
Yeah.
Really?
It's not good. It is really not good. Don't get me wrong, there's little bits of the movie where you can see like some Farrelly Brothers genius, because they can still do comedy.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's too old now. Too old to be acting like an imbecile.
I think I did say this to you, whatever night it was. In the trailers, he looks really old.
He does. And in the movie, he looks terribly old.
Yeah.
And Jeff Daniels...
he doesn't need to be doing that.
He doesn't.
Now.
He doesn't.
You know, he's proved he's got, like, from the newsroom and what have you, he's proved he's got some acting chops about him. He doesn't need to be doing that. I mean, I can only assume it's because, you know, it's really sort of the part that launched his career or whatever. It has to be sort of like a fan service kind of thing. I mean, I'm a fan of the original movie. Didn't really want to see a sequel.
It's just crap.
Oh, shit. I am still going to watch it, though. Damn. That is a shame. That's a real shame.
So that's the dishonorable mentions.
Aye.
Or as we like to call it, the shit list.
So that's 2014 done.
2014 is done. We are in 2015 now. We will come back later and we'll do like what we're looking forward to in 2015, because there is just an abundance of fucking movies this year.
Yeah, I struggled to get 5. Like, I don't think you're going to be happy with a couple of them.
There's so much I want to see this year. And I remember when they started announcing movies, back in 2013, they kept dropping movies left, right and centre. And I was like, oh, really? It's coming out in 2015, 2015, 2015, 2015. So I was worried about 2014, but as the list has just proven, we got some good movies. But this is the year we've been waiting for.
I wish it was December.
Talk about that in a little bit. But the last big movie that I watched, and I'm assuming you watched in 2014.
I was with you.
We went to see The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies. And you know what? I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. Don't really like Lord of the Rings. I thought Smaug was pretty good. I hated The Unexpected Journey. But I was so surprised when we came out of the cinema and you and Paul said that you didn't like The Five Armies. Not that you didn't like it, but you were picking faults.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Well, you know, it made my honourable mentions. It very nearly made my top 5. I think it was a good... Pardon me, it was a good movie. There were some fantastic scenes in it, which we'll come to in a second, I guess.
Yeah.
But when Return of the King ended, which obviously, you know, the last movie of the first trilogy,
yeah,
I came out of the cinema thinking that was fantastic. I want to see more. I just want to see more. What a movie. I can't wait to see it again. With this one, I don't know. It just felt like there was something missing. I don't know. There was there was just something missing about it. And I know it's...
Elijah Wood, maybe?
That's where it was. It was Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood, wasn't it? No, I mean, I've loved the... I prefer the Lord of the Rings trilogy, to be honest, to the Hobbit trilogy.
Is that not because he stretched out too far? Did it really need to be 3 films?
Well, this is a trilogy, you know, another sort of 7-8 hour trilogy based on a short story.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I said when we were on the way back down on whatever night it was, you know, they added in all the other sort of short stories and all the other sort of background stuff that Tolkien wrote about it, and that's where they got all the stuff about the necromancer and all that.
Yeah.
All that came from that. That wasn't in the Hobbit. All that shit was added in.
But surely that's
to stretch it out.
Surely that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. It is a good thing. I mean, I liked seeing, you know, I liked seeing sort of the glimpse of Sauron and all that.
But that was more tie-in to the original trilogy, just kind of put a nice little bow on it.
I don't like nice little bows. Nice little bows remind me of bloody wiped the protocol droid's mind.
Yeah, that was like the worst nice little bow though.
It was a shit little bow. There was just something missing. And, you know, Martin Freeman was fantastic. And Richard Armitage was fantastic. And Billy Connolly was fucking fantastic.
I had no idea he was in that.
Neither did I.
And I was shocked.
Because it took me a good few minutes to think, is that Billy Connolly?
Oh, come on. As soon as you started talking, it was like, holy crap.
It's like you say, as soon as he started talking, I was kind of, that's not Billy Connolly. I didn't know he was in this. Is it Billy Connolly? It is Billy Connolly. Shit. And then he started going when the armies came through the mountains and all that. Oh, come on. And all that. And, you know, he was brilliant in it. And obviously, Ian McKellen was brilliant as Gandalf again, as always. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I'm not in any hurry to see it again. I will see it again, but as I said, you know, a few minutes ago, when I came out of seeing Return of the King, I couldn't wait to watch it again. And with this one, I'm not so much.
Yeah, I'm totally against everything you've just said there, if I'm honest. I came out a lot, I've seen all of them except for Fellowship. I've seen them all at the cinema, and I hated the Two Towers for the same.
You hated Two Towers
for the same reason that I absolutely love Guardians. It had walking trees, and Two Towers annoyed the living crap out of me. I hated that movie so badly. Return of the King, it didn't impress me. And then you got the Army of the Dead. We've talked about that before. I thought
I've talked about that before.
I thought the Army of the Dead were going to be wicked, and then they were a huge fart cloud. And then you had the series of 30 endings, which added about 45 minutes to the movie. Didn't need any of that. And then I went to see the Unexpected Journey, and straight away I'm thinking, oh, so yeah, we're back here again. Like, I didn't like the Unexpected Journey. I liked when the dwarfs were sitting around the fire thing and they were all like doing their little song.
See, I wasn't a big fan of that bit.
It was quite foreboding. I was kind of like, oh, some shit's going to throw down now. And The Desolation of Smaug is the movie that turned me around on the Lord of the Rings. Because
I think that's why I was a little bit disappointed by Five Armies, is because that movie was so fucking good.
I thought it was, and I sat there and I was watching that thinking, holy shit, am I liking a fucking Lord of the Rings movie here? Turns out Lord of the Rings can actually be alright. And then I sat and watched Five Armies, and I wouldn't say it was better than Smaug, but I would put it alongside it.
Yeah?
I did really enjoy it.
So what? Why? Go on you go. Why?
I don't know, like, it didn't really, I know there was moments where it kind of slowed down to give you like plot points, and it was pretty retarded plot points as well when they did that. You know, when Legolas was with Tauriel and they were looking down at that thing and it was like, those bats were bred for war.
Yeah.
And you take away that scene.
That annoyed me, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
That line annoys the fuck out of me.
Considering when they turned up, they didn't do fuck all.
Exactly.
And
you know, they're a big fan of that kind of line in the whole saga. You know, these orcs are bred. This army is bred for war. This whatever. These trolls are meh. Bats.
But the movie kind of started and the town had been wrecked, and it started straight away with Smaug. A bit pissed off Smaug died within 10 minutes, but you know, the more I think about it,
I was hoping like I said to you, I was hoping for at least give him half an hour.
Yeah.
We're in here for 3 hours. Give him half an hour.
Yeah, I was the same. When he went down, I was kind of, you know, like that's him done. But then I suppose like that was the reason I liked the movie, because they didn't sit for too long on one thing. They kind of just went bang, 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 bang. Here's the big war. And even when when the big battle was going on, they didn't sit on anything for too long. They just they went, right, we're at the top of this cliff, there's a bit thing going on here, we're in the citadel and like the dale, this battle's going on here, we're in the mountain and all the dwarfs are getting pissy, we've got all the elves down here, we've got all the dwarfs. Everything just seemed to be happening and just moving.
I agree with you there completely. I like that as well. Yeah, I did like that. And I know that I said, you know, the whole thing with is it Thorin?
Yeah.
Where he kind of turned to the dark side a bit, and that was all going on. And then obviously there was like Bilbo was there and he hid the Arkenstone, and he kind of, you know, he went all Smaug at one point, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah,
that
it was cool. Like,
but it got to a point where I thought, oh, shut the fuck up.
See, a lot of people that I've been reading have been saying that should have went on for longer. Like, he turned back to the good side too early, and I was sitting there thinking, no, you could have probably dropped about 5-10 minutes out of that and had him go earlier.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
because I was kind of sat there going, I know he's going to turn good, so just fucking do it now. Just let's keep.
Yeah, they had to have the sort of trippy sequence and the.
I was just kind of like, for a movie that seemed to be bash, 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 big war, I just kept thinking, wow, like, I thought, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Peter Jackson. Like, I didn't like the King Kong movie. I think Peter Jackson's he's a bit pretentious, he's a bit up himself, but I think in that movie, the Five Armies movie, it was no easy feat to complete that, and I know the battle was probably about 75% CGI, computer effects and all that crap, but my god, he done a bloody good job.
He did, of course he did. I mean, there's nothing wrong with. Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings battles were the same. You know, all the orcs. Well, not all of them, maybe, but you know, a lot of that was CGI, obviously. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I found myself walking out of the cinema thinking, holy shit, I've really enjoyed that. Like, and that when I got in the car to go, that wasn't what I was thinking was going to happen. I was thinking this is going to be a really interesting podcast because I'm going to tear this apart. Turned out I really liked it, and you were kind of picking holes.
Yeah.
Kind of like a role reversal, Freaky Friday kind of thing.
Who knew? I don't know. I enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It was just something was missing about it. I'm not sure what it was. And you know, I was loving the battle scenes, the same as you. That, you know, the way they did it, absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
And the sort of end fight with Thorin versus the orc fella on the ice and that was amazing.
It was. I don't suppose it's a spoiler because it's not how the battle ends. But when he picks up the big rock and just throws it at him and he fell in the water, I have to admit, I sat there and I thought, so help me God, that better not be the way he defeats this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, say spoilers ahead. When the sort of, I guess, fourth army came over the hill and the orc fella had the muckle smirk on his face, I thought, oh, fucking hell, it's, they're all going to get wiped out and all that. And then, like, the eagles came.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, well, what's the point of calling it 5 armies? It's not. I mean, the last 2 armies were just a fucking waste of time.
Again, I know it's CG, and CG's pretty damn good nowadays. But when the guy jumped off the eagle and he was turning into a bear halfway down, I was sat there just kind of like, wow, that was pretty bloody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was cool.
I thought to myself, that's pretty fucking flawless. Just the way he turned, like there was no real. I know we were now watching Transformers turning at cars turning. I know we're watching all that now. We're watching monkeys who look fucking as real as human beings.
Yeah, I mean, with a big movie like this, there's absolutely no excuse for bad CGI.
Well, no, you can't
I
cut
agree
corners,
with you.
but when the guy jumped off the eagle and then turned into the bear, I was kind of like, shit, that was pretty cool.
Could have done with more of him. He didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of appeared and he started tearing shit up and then
I think as well,
away.
For a movie that was, 3 hours long?
It was about 3 hours.
I kind of got the feeling when you were, like you were saying, when that army was coming over the hill and then the eagles came in, I kind of got the feeling he was running out of time.
Yes, aye.
As if somebody just turned around and says, you do realise you're at the 2 hour 40 mark now.
And we've got 5 endings to do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the ending, I would say the ending was spot on.
Yeah, they played it low key with the ending. I like that.
It wasn't at all like Return of the King where you were saying goodbye to every single fucking character, and the ending was spot on.
And you didn't like the Legolas thing, did you? When they kind of they tied a little bow on him as well, saying
no, I didn't like that.
See, no. I didn't mind it.
There was no reason for that to be there.
But there are going to be people who, a couple of years from now, 10 years from now, there's going to be people who come to Lord of the Rings for the first time and it's going to be like, oh, well, you've got to watch The Hobbit first. So that's going to be that's going to be a nice little tie-in when they get Legolas at the end, and then they're going to watch The Lord of the Rings and they're going to be like, ah.
No, because Legolas was going away to go and find Aragorn.
Yeah, but
he doesn't meet in Fellowship of the Ring. He doesn't meet Aragorn until the bloody meeting, the big meeting.
What you have to remember is that Peter Jackson lives in Elysium, so he breathes his own oxygen, which makes him better than us. So we're going to forget that between movies.
Perhaps. I suppose it could be, you could say, oh, they knew each other before they went to the meeting.
Well, yeah.
They were buddies before they went to the meeting. You could argue that. But like Legolas didn't arrive with Aragorn, he arrived with a bunch of elves.
Yeah, he arrived at the same time as the little dwarf gadget.
The dwarfs and like Sean Bean.
Yeah, but on the whole, like,
yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I did, and I thought I did think there was no way I was going to like it, but I had to sit there and I found myself admiring the job that Peter Jackson had done. Still not a big fan of the man himself, but he'd done a bloody good job.
I've not actually seen King Kong. But other than that, I mean, it's just Lord of the Rings films that I've seen. But I think that's because he does a good job of those movies because he loves the source material.
Well, exactly, which is why I get a bit pissed off when I heard you saying that the Tolkien estate aren't particularly happy with the movies.
That's right.
Well, you know what? They want to go out and they want to find another director with enough fucking vision to make those movies. Yeah. Because there's not many out there.
It's because, I guess it's because there was a lot of stuff cut out of the books, like the Lord of the Rings books.
Can I tell you a secret that, not a lot of people know? Not everybody's read those fucking books.
I don't know if I said this to you, kind of mind if it's you or not. The Lord of the Rings books are really not well written at all. Fantastic stories.
Yeah.
The books are not well written.
I started reading one, we're talking years back, probably when The Fellowship came out, and I gave up probably less than 100 pages in because I was just kind of like, what the fuck?
The Hobbit book, I read the Hobbit book when I was in school, and I would go back and read The Hobbit because I remember that being really well written. Yeah, I'm the same as you. So yeah, like you say, get a director who's gonna sort of strip those books back and make a job of it, like he did the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Don't think it would happen. I think there's directors out there. Don't get me wrong, have vision. There's a lot of fucking directors out there who have vision, but I don't think there's very many that would have tackled that the way he did.
Well, the only other one that was linked to The Hobbit was Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
I'm glad he didn't get hold of it.
You know what? I'm actually strangely intrigued as to what he would have done with that, because he's a freaky director. Like he makes fucking weird films.
I liked Hellboy, but other than that,
so The Hobbit was the last movie of 2014 for us.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched Dumb and Dumber after The Hobbit, but I mean, Jesus Christ, I actually really liked it. I thought Peter Jackson done a good job. I thought for me it was a good way to end my sort of cinema experience in 2014.
It's a bit wanky,
but if you didn't like it, that's fine.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. It just wasn't the same as the other movies for some reason. I can't put my finger on what was missing from it. For me, there was just Elijah Wood. It would have had 5 stars if it had Elijah Wood in it.
So we're going to end that there, because that's just the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. So 2014's done. We've done our top 5. There's been some great movies. However, 2015 is going to be our year, basically.
Definitely. Before we do that though, I need a pee. So 2015 movies. So what we're looking forward to in 2015. Well, the first movie I'm looking forward to in 2015, and it comes out very, very soon, is American Sniper.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait to see that movie.
Does that trailer not just absolutely scream Oscar at you?
Yes.
Like, I see.
Yes, it does.
I see Cooper at least being nominated, but my Christ, even though I haven't seen the movie yet, but I just see Cooper winning something for that.
I think the trailers look absolutely amazing.
They do.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the movie. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Plus, it's Clint Eastwood directing, so
exactly. You know,
when does he not win Best Director?
So you reckon Best Director? Will that be this year's Oscars or next year's then?
It'll be this year's. It's just in time for this year's. Is it not like up until the end of January you can still be in the Oscar running?
I don't know. I don't really follow the Oscars, to be honest. I think they're. I mean, I look at the results, but
yeah,
I kind of think they're a bit. I just think they need to sort of update themselves.
See, we've had this discussion.
We've had this conversation.
I'm not getting into this with you because the Oscars. Because
I'm right.
The Oscars is the Oscars, and it's steeped in tradition. And when you look at what happens when they try and update themselves, the fucking Seth MacFarlane fiasco.
There's nothing wrong with that song. It was a good song.
That song was funny. Seth MacFarlane is not for the Oscars. He's just an arse.
It was a way to get the kids in. That's what it was.
I get that. But yeah. Jesus Christ. And then what did they do after that? It's like, oh, well, that didn't work out. Let's get Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, taking fucking selfies everywhere.
They just didn't need to do that.
Yeah, American Sniper.
I'm totally looking forward to that movie. I'm going
to be going to the cinema to see that one. I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, it's one I quite fancy. You know what it is? When we went to see The Hobbit, we saw a trailer for that Chris Hemsworth movie.
Oh, the whale one.
The Moby Dick thing.
The Moby Dick one, yeah. It's all right.
I hadn't heard anything about it, but I found myself thinking that looks pretty fucking good.
I don't think I would go to see it at the cinema.
No, it's not cinema.
Because we've got a busy year at the cinema. I would watch it, yeah, I would watch that.
I'm well up for that. It looked really good. Plus, it's Ron Howard, and Ron Howard tends to make a good film.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that.
Was that on your list, was it?
Well, I never really made a list. I'm just kind of going to throw films out there that I'm...
Okay.
I don't know if that would have made my list, but I am looking forward to it.
I'll watch it, like, definitely.
I most definitely 100,000,000% probably won't go to the cinema to see it, but I'm so looking forward to it. Fast and Furious 7.
It looks fucking awful.
You laughed your head off when I was sat in the cinema, kind of like, oh, I can't wait for that. And you kind of shot me that like so fucking disgusted glance.
Yeah, well, so did Paul.
And that's all you've got to say about that.
Yeah, it looks shit. It looks fucking awful.
Chris, we know what to expect from Fast and the Furious. We're not expecting Oscars. We're not expecting David Ayer directing Fury. We're not expecting anything really, apart from cheesy ass stunts, pretty, iffy acting. But it's Fast and the Furious. They're bloody amazing.
What, they churn out one a year now, are they?
Also that month as well, which I haven't actually heard of, but there's a movie called Child 44 coming out. Don't know much about it, but Gary Oldman, Tom Hardy's in it, so I'll watch it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do we know what it's about?
Nah.
A child.
I'm sure it looks all like, sort of like Nazi-ish or like war-ish or something like that.
Alright, okay.
Anything else you're looking forward to?
Next one, I only did 5. The next, because I thought we were doing top 5. The next one, and you go and fucking change the rules. Next one, which you're not going to agree with at all, is Terminator Genesis.
You know what? I'll go and watch it. That's as much as I'm saying.
I'll go and watch bloody Fast and the Furious 7 if you go and watch Terminator Genesis.
That's not even a comparison because we both know Fast and Furious 7 is going to be at least enjoyable.
I think Terminator... I've got massive, massive hopes for Terminator Genesis.
I think you're going to be massively, massively disappointed.
Probably. I think Emilia Clarke looks like she's going to be a fantastic Sarah Connor. I think Jai McCourtney looks like he's going to be okay as Kyle Reese, but then who do you get to play Kyle Reese?
Michael Biehn.
I think he's too old to play Kyle Reese. Now, they seem to be, they're doing a kind of JJ type reboot.
Yeah.
And I'm on board with that. I know you're not.
It's not that I'm not on board, it's just...
They're explaining Arnie being old by they sent another Terminator back when Sarah Connor was a kid, and so Arnie arrived when Sarah Connor was a kid, and then so he grew old. And then when the 1984 the original Terminator came out?
Mm-hmm.
So when the 1984 Terminator came back in time, the old Arnie was there to kill him. So therefore, the original Terminator never happened.
Oh, that movie's gonna suck even more than I think it is. I think it's an interesting way of doing it. It's the popular thing to do now. JJ did it with Star Trek.
Better not do it with Star Wars.
Bryan Singer's doing it with X-Men. I suppose it's better than doing a reboot.
Salvation tried to be a sort of, not a reboot exactly, but, they set it in the future and all that, and it didn't work. The movie didn't work. There was a lot of shit that obviously went. I don't think the final product was what the writers and director intended it to be. I think there was a lot of diva action going on by fucking. I think there was a lot of diva stuff by cast members from what I've read.
So although you don't want to say it out loud, just in case he's listening, what you're saying is Bale went in there and said, "No, this is the movie we're making."
You can't piss off Christian Bale. He's Batman.
Exactly.
I've done it now. Back to Genesis. I think it could be. I think it could work.
You know what? I'm gonna hold off. I'm not excited to watch it. I'm not looking forward to it. Don't really want to turn around and say it's gonna be horrendous because I could be wrong. I could sit there and think, my God, it could be a Hobbit situation. I could sit there and be like, my God, this is bloody brilliant. Don't think I will.
I mean, I don't know. I just think, it's a good franchise. It's a solid franchise.
It was.
It was a solid franchise up and I don't know. Terminator 3 had its merits.
Terrible.
It had its merits. It wasn't terrible.
It was terrible.
You're Claire Danes in it.
Exactly.
It had its moments in it. The Terminatrix was okay, not as good as Robert Patrick. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's got potential.
I think in a year where there's so many big releases, I think Terminator is going to get lost.
Possibly right, yeah.
Because there's too much.
Is it going to be out in the summer? I'm not even sure what month it's being released. Because if it's released anywhere near like Avengers or that, then yeah, you're right. You're completely right.
It's out in July.
Right.
Avengers is May. Jurassic World June. Terminator July. I think it's just going to bomb, if I'm honest with you.
I don't think it'll bomb. I really don't think it'll bomb. I think people want to see a decent Terminator. People want to see a decent Terminator film again.
They do. I just don't think this is going to be it. So next on your list.
Oh shit. Hold on. Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, yeah. You know what? We did the trailer talk. I'm still not smitten with the Jurassic World trailer, but you know what? It's Jurassic Park.
Exactly. It's dinosaurs kicking off.
It can't possibly be bad.
We've said before, Jurassic Park 3 was a good movie.
It was.
Lost World, not so much. It's been way, way, way too long since we've had a Jurassic Park movie.
But could that be a good thing in the long run?
I think it is. If they're planning, the launch of a new franchise, which, hopefully they are. Can't have too many dinosaur
I would like to
movies.
think so.
Hopefully they are. Then I think it's been so long that people they'll be watching the original Jurassic Park. Maybe if they're some kind of moron that hasn't seen it before, but maybe not comparing it to it.
None of the fine listeners of this show, because they'll have all seen Jurassic Park.
All the 365ers have seen Jurassic Park.
I'd like to think so.
That has to be a T-shirt. I'm a 365er. Like I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a 365er.
Yeah, we could look into that as like a giveaway. Don't think anybody would pay for it.
if we autograph it.
So Jurassic World, I'm with you. I love the fact Chris Pratt's in it.
Yes.
I'm kind of secretly hoping that one of the original cast, like Sam Neill, will pop up.
Yeah, I've not read anything about them doing any cameos or anything.
I don't think it's going to need it. I would like to see it.
I would just hope that they don't do like what they did in Star Trek with Spock.
What, he's going to come in and be like, I've been here before?
No, like the first movie, okay, the first movie needed him, but the second movie didn't need him whatsoever.
Yeah,
that is probably my only picky bit with Into Darkness is Spock. Do you think Shatner and this is completely off topic, but do you think Shatner and Nimoy are going to be in Star Trek 3?
I think with the loss of is it Archie or Kirkman?
God knows. Archie, I think.
With the loss of him, both directing and writing, I think Nimoy will probably leave it. I can't see Nimoy being in it. But personally, I think Shatner would fucking turn up to the signing of a book. So. Yeah, I think Shatner will be in it. Don't get me wrong, I love William Shatner. I think he's great as Kirk. He'll do anything. He will do anything, literally. So you can expect to see him in Star Trek 3.
I don't want to see him in Star Trek 3.
Personally, I think Nimoy, he's got too much integrity. He's got too much respect for the show, the old show and the new movies. Plus, I think he was only doing it because JJ was on board. Personally, I think they should just leave Star Trek 3 until JJ comes back.
The thought of this prick that does Fast and the Furious, directed Star Trek.
Don't get me wrong, I have just ranted and raved about how much I love Fast and the Furious. I certainly do not want that guy making Star Trek 3. So Jurassic World's out.
So what's your next one?
I think the only thing I'm more excited about Jurassic World, I mean obviously there's a couple of films I'm more excited about than Jurassic World, but I've got like Avengers. I'm dying to see Avengers 2. I'm just dying to see it.
Well, yeah, the only other two movies is Avengers 2 and the next one.
Yeah.
So Avengers 2 first. How awesome is this going to be?
It's going to be the balls. It's going to be the absolute fucking balls. Everybody knew Avengers Assemble was going to be big, but we didn't know how big it was going to be, how they were going to work all these characters in. We know it works now. We know it works.
Well, and so does every other studio on the planet, apparently.
So it's going to be the absolute shit. I cannot wait to see Avengers 2. And I'm more of a DC man. I always have been. When it comes to comic books, I'm DC all the way. I'm like you say, Spider-Man's your favourite. Batman is 100% my favourite. Probably because of Harley Quinn, but Batman's 100% my character, I'm looking forward to see where DC go. But right now, it's all Marvel. And Marvel's just won that race.
Well, there's not a DC movie coming out in 2015, is there?
No, we don't have anything DC until 2016.
Right.
And even then, Marvel's probably going to wipe the floor with DC in 2016.
You know what? When we do this next January, I don't see Batman vs Superman being on my list.
I texted you the other week saying that I am 100% cannot wait to see Batman vs Superman. I can't.
I'll see it. I'll go and see it with you. Definitely.
I can't wait to see it. But I personally think
I'm expecting it to suck.
It's not going to suck. It can't suck. They can't let it suck. They've released the slate up until 2019. Batman vs Superman fails. That's all their movies out the window.
So yeah, but that's 2016 though. So Avengers Assemble. No, not Avengers Assemble. Age of Ultron.
We've only really seen the trailer.
It was just a teaser trailer that won it. It wasn't.
It was just a teaser trailer, but it looks fucking astounding. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're sat here in January and we're both doing our top fives. I wouldn't be surprised if that sits firmly at number one on both lists.
Well, it's me, so it's a Joss Whedon movie. It's going to be on there.
It's going to take a lot to mess that movie up.
Certainly from the trailer that we've seen, you've got James Spader as the villain, and that voice is amazing. I was encouraged was it yesterday or the day before? And I was looking at sound bars, and they had the Avengers trailer showing on repeat on every single fucking TV. And so I had that bloody song in my head all the way down the road. But every time it was ended with "There are no strings on me." It's gonna be amazing.
So a couple of other movies we've got coming out before we talk about the film.
One, yep.
Of 2000. I mean, I'm saying Avengers is going to be top of the list. It's not.
It's not.
It fucking isn't. But a couple of other films to be thrown out there. You've got that Jupiter Ascendance coming out, which apparently people are kind of loving so far. Like they like what they're seeing.
What is that?
It's Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis.
Right.
But it's the Wachowskis. So.
All right. Okay.
I think it's going to be a great concept, but it's going to be a horrific mess. Because
I've not heard anything about that movie, to be honest with you. I don't know what that is.
That's just them all over. Horrific mess.
Right.
You've got your man, the guy that done District 9. He's got a new like robot-y movie coming out.
Right.
Called Chappie. I read about it and I was like, nah, you can keep it.
I want to see the sequel to District 9.
You got Mad Max. I'm on the fence with Mad Max.
Yeah, I think it's got Tom Hardy in it. It's going to be good.
Plus the fact that they're now saying that it's possibly going to be a Batman vs Superman teaser trail before it.
Yeah. So is that the only reason we're going to go to see it?
Personally, I think that's worth the price of a ticket.
Yeah, I would see Mad Max. The trailers look really good.
They do. They look brilliant. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. You got the Fantastic Four reboot, and I'm not really bothered. Of course it is.
You were saying about universes and stuff. Alternative timelines and all that.
Yeah.
Apparently the plot of Fantastic Four is they get transported into an alternative reality, and so that's how they get their powers.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
You got the new Bond movie. Not really
December
fussed
as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
I'm not fussed with Bond.
There's only one film I'll be seeing in December.
Is that Mission Impossible 5?
It is, exactly.
And then you've got the big movie, the movie everybody's... If you don't want to see this movie, you mustn't enjoy movies, because this is, how long have we waited for this?
Probably
since Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. Yes. What do you say? Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, the teaser trailer looks absolutely fucking fantastic.
It does.
And we saw it in 3D on Sunday.
We did.
Oh my god!
Even better.
The Millennium Falcon in 3D.
I did kind of shudder a little bit when the football droid came on.
Don't worry about the football droid.
I'm not worried. I'm just a little bit pissed off.
Don't get pissed off about the football droid.
But you know what? You are a Whedon whore. I'm JJ all the way. Like I am. I'm just JJ all the time.
JJ's not going to give us a Jar Jar.
No, he's not.
You can say that 10 times fast.
JJ Jar Jar.
JJ's not going to give us a Jar Jar. I see. JJ's not going to give us a Jar Jar Binks in the form of a football droid. It's not going to... Just don't get worked up about the football droid. Everybody's getting worked up about the football droid and the fact that there's a black stormtrooper. Shut the fuck up. It's Star Wars Episode 7. Just let it be awesome.
Let's just focus on the fact that it's actually a Star Wars movie that isn't going to suck.
It just looks amazing. I can't wait to see more of the Sith with the awesome lightsaber. I can't wait to get a proper trailer that's going to show us Han Solo.
Everybody keeps saying this, and everything I keep reading is like, we want to see a little bit of Luke Skywalker, we want to see a little bit of Han Solo. I would be perfectly happy if he didn't show us any of those three, and we just sit down in the movie, and they're just there. Like, I would be happy with that.
To show us them.
But why? Why do you want to see them? Why do you want to see them?
Because they're making such a big deal of bringing back, like, the four, that you've got Peter Mayhew, who's coming back, and Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford. They're making such a big deal of these characters being in it. They might not even be in it that long. They might even be in it like a quarter of the movie and get killed off or something. I don't know. I want to see them in a trailer.
100%. I would be happy not seeing them until the movie.
That's not going to happen. They're going to show them. But I personally, I want to see them in a. If they give us a nice sort of cheeky 3-minute trailer when we go to see Avengers, which I'm assuming is when they're going to do it.
I think that's when you're going to get it.
I want to see at least Han Solo. I'll be happy not seeing Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill. I want to see Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Just for a split second flying the Millennium Falcon. That's all I want to see. I just want to see Han Solo.
But I mean, we have literally 12 months to wait.
I know. That sucks.
But just think about it. With the turn of the year, we're just that much closer. At least now we know what's coming out this year.
We're getting Star Wars this year.
How exciting is that?
Aye.
Which probably makes this the greatest year of our lives. So that's pretty much us. That's 2014 wrapped up. 2015 in a nutshell. We got a lot of big films come this year. Hopefully we'll be podcasting on hopefully all of them.
Exciting times. And coming soon, Marvel top 5.
Top 5 or top all?
Top all. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Okay. Top all then. All right. Top all. So every Avengers universe movie so far. So that's us done now. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. If you disagree with any of it, you're wrong. Come back soon.
Yeah, come back soon. If you do disagree with the top 5, don't just take Chris as his word as you are wrong. You could always come to the Facebook page and let us know.
No, you're wrong.
You bunch of 365 whores. That's definitely a thing now.
It's got to be a thing. Should it be a 365 flick whore? Or does that sound wrong? Does that sound really, really wrong?
You don't want to be
Flick
flicking. You don't want to be flicking whoas.
No. A 365 tour. Yeah, that's got to be a t-shirt and a bumper sticker. I'm a 365 Flick Whore. 365, 24/7.